welcome to the Rebel Ballerina Show, where we learn to live a kick-ass rebel life. I'm your host, Lisa Lurie, the Rebel Ballerina. There's no farting around in this show, just straight up fun. But if your ears are sensitive, go ahead and move along. If you want a truly kick-ass life, well, then here we go. Hello and welcome to the Rebel Ballerina Show. I am your host, Lisa Lurie, the Rebel Ballerina. And I wanted to talk to you today about a few fundamental truths that I have discovered over the last 5 to 10 years that were really astonishing to me. And it made a lot of sense, but it's like things we just don't get or know. And these things aren't taught in school, basically. It's something we have to figure out on our own, which can be really hard to do if we even figure it out at all. But before I get further into that, check out my ebook. It's called From Almost Ending It All to the Fun Hot Bitch Mom. Check it out because these are some of the things involved. What I'm talking about today, these truths are what are the things I discuss in the book, the things I have discovered a very hard way. And the purpose of the book is to make it easier for you. Save you some steps, you know? So if you're calculating steps on your watch, that's not the kind of steps I'm talking. You go ahead and take all those steps. I'm talking about the steps, the philosophical steps, the things we have to go through in life to figure stuff out. Sometimes it's really tough. And sometimes it's really nice to have a little bit of a shortcut, if you will. And my ebook can provide that. So check it out. So now back to this whole idea of some foundational truths, not falsehoods, truths, just so I'm not sounding like I'm saying truths. Anyway, grammar, just checking. There are some pretty amazing things that I discovered. Being a rebel fawn is, well, for one thing, is an exciting adventure to get through and become the rebel of the rebel fawn and to start living that out in life. It's fascinating and it's very fun. It brings a lot of joy and peace, and it helps you to live the life that you really want and that you've always been designed to live in the first place. It's like coming back to yourself. It's not like you're changing yourself into someone different or a new person. It's getting rid of all the crap that kept you from being who you are in the first place, right? Because we all came to live on this planet and to share talents and ideas and live a joyful, creative life. That is exactly the purpose of life. And to share all of that with the people around us and community, maybe even the whole world. Who knows? So this is at the base of that. One of these truths is that pretty much everybody goes through some kind of trauma to varying degrees, right? I know that there are some homes where kids grow up and it's pretty relatively calm. Sure, there are going to be some squabbles. Sure that there's still going to be some little, between siblings. There are going to be things that go on with the parents or parents to siblings. Of course, we're all still human. And there is no such thing as the perfect home. But there are some that have had a pretty nice upbringing. And then there could be some other influences that have created trauma. a lot of times that can also come from school. It can be just how things are. School is this one size fits all, which means it really doesn't fit very many anybody, especially these days. Instead of being able to be who you are and work the way you work. My son is an extraordinary auditory learner, and that's the best way for him to learn. So if he can just sit and listen to what's being read, to what's being spoken about, then he learns it. However, if you're going to force him to take notes, he won't learn anything because that's not how he learns. So it's that in that kind of realm where we're individuals and there is no one size fits all to life. There are lots of variances. But one truth that I have found is that everybody goes through something. Some of us go through a lot, and it gets really heavy and hard and difficult. And there's an easy tendency to think that either life just sucks and that's how it is, or for whatever reason, I got dealt a crappy hand in the cards of life, so to speak. Those are typically some of the reactions. Rarely do we think in adulthood, yeah, I did this to myself. I know I didn't. I did not think that. I thought I was being punished constantly and I just couldn't do things right enough. I couldn't be good enough to make my life work the way I wanted it to or the way I had already worked for. And so it just seemed so very unfair. But here's the truth. We all go through something. And then there are these responses to that as we're growing up, these trauma response patterns. And there are 4 general ones. Now, there's some little mix and match in there, but for the most part, each person chooses or falls into the pattern that best suits their personality or whatever. And it's like the dominant. For me, that was fawn. You have fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. And I chose the fawn method for whatever reason. Don't know why. That's just how my personality operates, I guess. And so I gravitated to that particular or trauma response pattern. Then on the other end of that, you have the fighters. And we all know some fighters in our lives, I am sure. And now, for a good decade, there's been a lot of talk about narcissists. And I think we all have a much better idea of who the narcissists are, what that pattern is like, and how they operate. Typically, I just call them takers, exploiters, manipulators, those people who put on a good show. I mean, they can be really sneaky. They can put on a good show, they gaslight, they do things that make you feel like it's all you and there's something wrong with you and you're not good enough and you keep trying and trying and trying. And it never comes to satisfaction, right? So you have that type. It's pretty much on the polar opposite of fawn. Fawn is like, how can I help? What do you need? What do you want? What's going to make you happy? I want to make sure that I'm not tossed out. So please just let me know what you want me to do. Or sometimes we read someone's mood or something and we have this guessing game. Oh, maybe this will make them happy. Maybe I'll do that and this and anyway, it takes a lot of doing and a lot of energy to try to please everybody else. And that's what us fawn types do. We get into this pattern pretty deep, right? If you're like me, Now, there are some folks who just kind of vacillate between all four, and that is a great, healthy place to be, where you can vacillate between all four. You're able to determine if something is dangerous. You're able to stand up for yourself if necessary. You're able to leave if you need to. You're able to just kind of pause, right? Or you're able to try to keep some peace. Those are the basics. I mean, I know I'm going real basic here, but if you can vacillate fluidly in all four of those different ways throughout your comings and goings in life, where you're, depending on whatever circumstance, whoever it is you're working with at the moment, dealing with, then you can do that, and that's pretty darn healthy. But when you get stuck in a predominant one, and usually it's fawn or fight, here are some things I've discovered about these two. On the fight side, they're kind of stuck. Whoever has chosen that has dug in so deep and has created such an illusion for themselves, or I should say, delusion, that there's no escape. They can't get out. And the people that they suck into their lives are players in their delusion. And that's the only reason you're there. And if you don't play their delusion, they get really angry, really angry, and have all kinds of fascinating ways to take it out on you. Some of those are pretty overt. You know, that's your domestic violence. They beat on each other, or beat you, whoever the fawn is, they will beat the fawn or manipulate to ridiculous extremes. However that transpires is what they do. And then you have on the other side, you have people like me, who I became a very well trained fawn. Um, Maybe not to the point that as a fawn I could stand on a ball like an elephant. I don't know, like a circus act. Not the right kind of training. It's not the same. But I was trained nonetheless. I was trained to do what everybody else wanted. I was trained to watch for what would help keep the peace. So you have these two extremes. The fight side, the narcissistic side, has a harder time being able to change that because the delusion is so deep and so great. And I would dare say that if a person is truly like diagnosable as an uh, narcissist, NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, which I am not here to do. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just explaining and referencing some of the things I've learned. When it's to that degree, that person really cannot change. And it's sad. It's really sad. And it's kind of heartbreaking, actually. And so here's a further issue. Those of us like fawns, we get all like, oh, you poor thing. Oh, I have so much compassion for you. How can I help you? That's the wrong reaction. So there's our side of it. However, on the fawn side, the great news is we can change. We can actually get out of that. We can break that pattern, that childhood pattern that served us in childhood, that now is absolutely destroying our lives, or at least deteriorating what we really could be. We have a diminished life and it's not working the way we want. There's added stress in life that we don't need. And there's just something there that's keeping us from being our true selves. And that's not okay. It's just not. And again, these are to varying degrees. For me, it's pretty hugely extreme. So extreme that I just didn't even want to be here anymore. Because what was the point? What was the freaking point for me to be here in my body when my soul was already dead, right? Maybe you have felt that way. And believe me, I really understand that level of despair. It's not a good place to be. It's not happy. There's no joy there at all. So we can definitely go to extremes, but we can get out of that. That's what's so amazing on the fawn side. Thankfully, we can change that. So happy that we can change that. And I have for me. That's what's so extraordinary. And because of that, that's why I'm here. Because, like, if I could change that, then you can change that. And you could start living a joyful, happy life, the one that you were designed to live. You could have that same kind of peace and calm and just fun. It's like there's so much more fun to be had. So there are these truths like, okay, so we all have some kind of something, right? We all choose some type of pattern unless you are seriously just really healthy. And there are some folks who are able to just vacillate in between all of the four different responses according to whatever the situation is at hand. But I'd say the vast majority of us have had some kind of deeper ingraining of one particular pattern. For me, the fawn, for others, the fight. The fighters cannot change. And that's so sad. And I've listened to many, many psychologists, commentators, and things as I was learning all about these things. And my eyes began to open up to what was really happening. And it was like, whoa, that's what's been going on all this time. And it started because someone actually said in a speech they were doing, and this was during the time when I just really didn't give a shit about anything anymore because I didn't want to be here. So what did it matter? But I went to this business event just like, oh, well, it's something different to do, whatever. And with a friend. And this guy on stage said, you create your life. And that's the first time I was like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? I would not create this hardship, this absolute despair over and over and over again, this stress and just the depression and anxiety. Why would I do that to myself? And I was pissed when he said that. I was so angry. I was like, how dare you say that I did that? Well, upon further investigation and starting to learn some things, I realized, oh, yeah, I did. I did create this mess. But you know what was behind it? It was that fawn pattern. It's the conditioning that keeps us in this pattern, and then that pattern puts us on this creating by default, if you will. So I was creating havoc in my life by default because I didn't know any better. I didn't know anything different. I thought I was just being good. And if I did things good and if I was obedient and all of that, that's what you're told, right? Be obedient, do what you're told, and your life will work out. That's bullshit. Just telling you. That's just a line of bull. It doesn't. If your obedience and all of that is coming from this conditioning of the fawn trauma response pattern, it's not. It's not a good thing. That's why we have to rebel. Because we have to figure out, okay, well, what's good for me, not what's good for everybody else, the people who are manipulating me and want something from me, right? So through these different folks that I've listened to and learned from over the years, it's really amazing because I want to say all. Okay, I'll say 99%. They say that if you are in a situation with a fighter, and I mean like a pretty strong narcissistic type person, to just run, actually run, get away. And if you can at all, go no contact. Just go no contact, because there's no reasoning, there's no compromising, there's no negotiating, because they're not operating in a realm of reality where there is such a thing. They're stuck in their delusion, and it's their way or it's their way. Let's see, it's their way or it's their way or it's their way. Right? It's one of those three choices. So you have to learn who you're dealing with and what all that means and where you're coming from, where that person's coming from. This was all so brand new to me in the sense of understanding it. I mean, I'd already lived it with my dad. I knew he really didn't care about me. I was just there. I was someone to put down and to chastise and to say that I'm not working hard enough, I'm not doing enough, and I'm just wasting his money on my ballet hobby and those kinds of things, and just really giving me that feeling of abandonment. That's what it was. Because even though I didn't say to myself when I was 2 years old, oh, I see, my dad is abandoning me, so I'll just go about my way and I'll be happy and I'll just, no, you don't do that. You are like, why would you do that? I'm so sorry, what did I do? Here, can I make it better? Oh, you want coffee? I'll get your coffee. You want me to not say anything? I won't say anything. I won't bother you. I just whatever you want. Just let me know so that you will love me. That's what we do on the fawn side. So I'd already gone through that subconsciously, but I didn't understand what that was doing in my subconscious and how that was deepening that pattern and ingraining that in me. And that would then dictate my life moving forward. And there's the default creating. I have chosen to step away from default creating, breaking that pattern, and start creating my life the way I want it to be on purpose. And you can do that too. That is what's so great about being the fawn. We can rebel. We can rebel. We can choose something entirely different. We can choose to turn away from people and run away from people if we need to, and just never talk to them again if that's what we want to do. We have that choice now. Whereas before, I never thought I had a choice in any of this. Do you? Did you think you had a choice in this? I would love to hear what you have to say about that. Did you feel you were stuck in something and that you were just, your life was just a series of very misfortunate events that you had no control over? Just one hardship after another, one person after another treating you like shit, right? And what did you do? Weren't you a nice person? I'm sure you were, actually. That's the problem. No, it's not a problem that you're nice. And that's another super cool thing about being a fawn is I still get to be nice to the right people. And that's what makes this fun, because now I can be at peace. I can be at ease, knowing that when I'm nice to someone, and I'm not talking about holding a door for someone. I mean, everybody should do that, whether you're a narcissist, a flighty person, someone who pauses or, freezes, although I wouldn't freeze at the door holding it open. That'd be kind of weird. No, we should all be nice to each other. We should all do common courtesy type things. I'm talking about people who expect something of you. And when you're in a relationship with a friend or family member or coworker or even a boss or a spouse or something where there's more in depth than just holding a door open, I'm talking about that. And when that's the case, it's the knowing that there's give and take and that it's um, equitable. It's not one-sided. When you're in something that's one-sided, you know it and you feel it. Drained, exhausted, you're never enough, depressed, anxious. There's so many, I could go on and on, but I won't. There are so many things that we can do to safeguard ourselves. And those are some of the other truths that I have discovered. So we have the fact that we all go through some kind of something. We all experience something. Some seemingly more than others. I mean, like, yeah, there are some people that I'm like, dang, how did they survive all of that? Right? Oh my God. And then there are some that seem to be unscathed somehow. And it's neither here nor there. It's what each of us does with where we are right now. Learning about these different responses and the differences and how they play out, and the fact that as a fawn, I can be a rebel, has been so freeing. So these are just some of the things that I've discovered, and it's been really fascinating. There are some pretty amazing things that this is something that's a whole, it takes life to a whole different realm. It makes it so much more enjoyable. And well, I don't know. I love being fascinated, for one thing. And I'm very curious as to how things work. And so maybe that's why I was so like, well, I got to find out what that guy was talking about. What the hell? I did not create this bullshit for myself. And then, investigating and learning, I got a whole lot more than I bargained for with that learning. And it's been phenomenal. It's been wonderful just by investigating that. It opened up literally a whole new world. I don't want to sound like the Little Mermaid, but seriously, it is a whole new world. Even though I'm still on my own. Those are just touching a little bit of the truths that I have learned and the impact that they've had on my life, and being able to understand and to see things in a much different way than I ever thought that I would, or did for sure before. It's much more fun. So I really hope you will join me in becoming a rebel. And I definitely want to know, like I talked about before, get the ebook, read through it, and comment, contact, put in a message, say, oh my gosh, you talked about that, and that was me. Because that's how I felt when I've been reading some different information. I'm like, who's been following me and writing down my life? What's going on here? Are there cameras? I mean, I know there's a camera right now, but seriously, I felt like someone had been watching me and analyzing my life and writing it down on a book that then I would read and go, oh, how did they know that? Well, you know how they know that? Because there are so many people like me. That's how. That's how. There's just so many. And that's why I just know that someone out there that's watching this is going to say, "Oh, yeah, that's me too. How do I get away from this?" Right? And that's what this ebook is to get started with, to help you. have some of that understanding. This took me years and years to figure out. And so I've compiled and condensed that in this quick book. I'm working on my full book, but that's going to take a little more time. So in the interim, this ebook will give you a snapshot of how I got out of this being stuck in this trauma response and was able to rebel and start living my life the way I'm supposed to be living, not according to what everybody else wants. So look for From Almost Ending It All to Fun Hot Bitch Mom. And I got to tell you that story. I'll do that next time. I got to tell you the fun hot bitch mom story because it's pretty fun. It's pretty cool. But check it out and please tell me, how do you find yourself? Are you maybe a freeze type or a flight type? What does that look like for you? How do you do that? Because I know I have some of that in me. I mean, we all have some of all of these things, but I'm so very dominantly fawn. If you are too, let me know. If you find some of the others, let me know. Let's investigate this stuff together because it's way more fun that way, for real. And I just want to let you know that there are these truths that I've discovered, but there's so much more, and there's things you can do if you don't like where you are right now. And that's so encouraging. It's so wonderful. You should be living your joyful life like I am my life now. And that's what I want for you. So have a super great day. Again, check out the ebook. Please do comment. Let me know what's going on in your own life and see how we can rebel together.